We have witnessed history. Hafthor Bjornsson, now a 3-time champion here at the Arnold Strongman Classic. Plus, we saw a new record on the sear dumbbell posted by Mateusz Kieliszkowski. A whole lot of history happening tonight. Sam Farber, Dr. Bill Crawford back here with you at the Rogue Iron Game desk. And Bill, put into perspective what we just saw from the mountain.
We saw history, as you said. He's not only a 3-time winner, he's a 3-time consecutive winner. This puts him in the rarest air of the Arnold Strongman Classic champions. That puts him kind of in the realm of being around Zydrunas Savickas, who won several in a row himself. What it really does, though, is it solidifies that Hafthor is still the man to beat and that this is the time of Hafthor.
Take a look at our final standings here at the 2020 Arnold Strongman Classic. And, you know, Hafthor Bjornsson was able to minimize damage in certain places because even though he's your overall champ, Mateusz Kieliszkowski won 4 events here in Columbus, Ohio.
And still came in second. So that shows that Hafthor came in prepared, the shape of his life. Not only that, he has no weaknesses. So he didn't have to overcome a big gap.
Really became those two men, and then everyone else. Martins Litzis, it was hoped that, at least from his camp, that he would be able to move one rung higher. He was the runner-up last year. He had some great momentum coming out of Santa Monica here to Columbus. Just was unable to put it together and really come up with even an event-winning performance, let alone the overall competition winner.
Yes, he had to put so much energy into even getting here, and then he's overcoming an injury. But he did put together a very solid performance, and he finds himself on the podium again at the Arnold. So, again, he also is in the rarefied air, the very, very top of strongmen.
Here we go. Fine performance throughout. Had a lot of consistency there, and just not enough of that high quality at this, the highest quality of events, to come away with the title. Still very impressive. Martins Litzis, second straight year he is on the podium. And of course, he's the reigning world's strongest man as well. So, you know, he's got a lot of great competition ahead of him. Maybe the most impressive person outside of the mountain was Mateusz Kieliszkowski, who won 4 events, sometimes in very impressive fashion.
Well, it was business as usual for him. He astonished us. He had a record in the frame carry. He also had a record in the dumbbell. He moved the wheel of pain faster than anyone that we've seen. And he also did the trial by stone almost routinely without any flaws whatsoever.
In the end, it came down to the 2 events he didn't win, the deadlift and the bag over bar. That it's not just that he couldn't win them, he couldn't stay close enough to the mountain to make it count.
He did pretty good in the bag over bar. He's an explosive athlete, but again, it's just the deadlift efficiency is just haunting him. And I know he's going to go home, and that's what he's going to work on. What will that do for the rest of his season? Well, for one thing, he's got to qualify to get back here. So he's got to map out his campaign and go find one of the competitions to go win or place high in. Hafthor punches his ticket to come back next year. He's already assured to be here next year to defend his title. Can he do it 4 times?
Kieliszkowski ends up falling short by just 2 points. That's 2 placements in any one event that if he could have made up, he'd be at the very least in a liftoff right now with the mountain. But at best, he would be the champion. Unfortunate for him, fortunate for the Icelandic 3-time now champion, Hafthor Bjornsson, who had consistency throughout. He never finished worse than 4th place in any one event.
Here he is in his deadlift, very dominating performance. He looked really great with this. But I have to say that it is a little bit difficult to think about this competition without Brian Shaw here. I think he would have been another person in the mix that would have put a different pressure element on Hafthor as well. Hafthor with that great 300-pound lift over his head, very, very strong. But I think that if Brian were here, he would have definitely been in the mix in several of these events, probably pushed him a little more in the deadlift and changed some of that placement. So Mateusz might not have found himself winning 4 events because he'd have this other, you know, giant in our sport.
Hafthor just tied him, though, for career wins here at the Arnold. Congratulations to Hafthor, to his wife Kelsey, to his entire camp. It's not just one man, it's an entire family affair, and it's a big family that the Bjornssons brought out here to cheer on their man, the mountain. Your closing thoughts here after a great weekend of competition. 2 men really separated themselves, and one separated himself from history.
Yes, he did, and that's really the story here. But it's exactly like we thought it would be with the 1-2 combination of Hafthor and Mateus gave us a great competition. Martins finishes on the podium. We had some other really brave performances. I think that Misha Shivlikov really showed us what bravery is.
He absolutely did. There were some inspiring performances. There were some performances that we just have never seen before. Things like a 320-pound dumbbell going up, seeing 1,000 pounds go up, maybe not as easily as Hafthor Bjornsson ever has. What will they do for an encore next year? Can't wait to find out. That's going to put the 2020 Arnold Strongman Classic in the books. Want to say thank you to everyone at Rogue, everyone here in Columbus, our fantastic crew led by Charlie Doobie, everyone who helped make this weekend possible. It's always fun to see the biggest and best in sports compete at the highest level, and they most certainly were able to do that here. Our director is Justin Reed, AD Blair Neighbors, and again, producer Charlie Doobie. Our pleasure to work with all of them and to have all of you tuned in here as well. For Dr. Bill Crawford, Kiki Dixon on the competition floor, I'm Sam Farmer saying it's been a pleasure and a privilege having you with us here in Columbus, Ohio. Congrats to everyone on our podium, and congrats to Hafthor Bjornsson, the Mountain, now the 3-time champion of the Arnold Strongman Classic.